Alright, let's get started. We're just going to do a quick rundown of all the nest spots that I use on Penny Parker for Kunlun. So first things first, you want to be doing the rollout and trying to get out on point ASAP while also placing your mines wherever you want to place them as soon as possible, right? Every Penny player should have a general idea of where they want to place their mines, and so for me, as I'm walking out of the waterfall, I'm throwing some down here because I know I want to place some mines over here with a web trap, right? And the goal is trying to get as many mines out as possible before the enemy team reaches the areas that they want to be in, right? So already, as soon as the game has started, I've placed, what, 10 mines down total, with both my nests being set up fully with 400 damage mines, 10 mines from each nest fully set up. So Penny's all about being efficient with your time and not wasting it, and making sure that you don't keep your mines and your nest on cooldown when you could be using them instead, and keeping them up for maximum uptime. Contrary to what Cringe Alarm says, I think this nest spot is perfectly fine. Focusing on one side or the other doesn't really matter. I protect both sides equally. And it becomes hard for the enemy team to really choose one specific direction to go, because even if they go here, they're gonna get, I mean, if they all choose to go here, they're gonna get blown up because I have mines set up over here. And if they choose to go to the right side, or their left, they're gonna get blown up by the mines anyway on the left side. So I just balance it relatively well between both sides. Only reason why people like Cringe Alarm and Ashigo might prefer doing one side is because they like doing stacks of 8 mines at once so they can insta-kill a tank. But I don't bother doing that because I have the nest, or because, well, it's too high risks to throw 8 mines in one area and hope that the enemy tank just gets blown up by it and they don't block it with a bubble or a shield, or step out of it, or use a movement tag to bait the mines out, right? It's just not worth it. So you just kind of want to not put all your eggs in one basket, essentially. But outside of the nest spot itself, I don't really like any other nest spot. The issue with the Cringe Alarm nest spot over here, right? Putting this nest over here is, I mean, one, if you just have any idea of like what the penny nest does, you would recognize that the penny nest is right over here. Like, you don't have to walk and look into the waterfall to break the nest. It's just very obvious, like, oh, the webs are over here, let me just shoot this down. Another reason why nest spots like that Cringe Alarm does is very bad, because you have no defensive capabilities for either you or your team. When you place your nest in the middle over here, you're obviously covering both sides, so that's good. It's coverage on both left and right lanes. At the same time, if you are getting dove on or you need extra HP and the movement speed and healing, you have the webs within the nest here. If you have a nest placed over here, and let's say you don't have to rocket team up, well, you're just going to be sitting here, AFK, with no webs, so you don't get that overshield healing. And then you would have to waste a third web to like do it like this, right? And it's just like, why would you not just have the nest over here, protect the nest whenever you need to, and also have it just be useful? Like, let's say they portal on point, or they walk the point. You can just web out like this and cover the entire point with 3 webs. Having options, variability, and being able to have it be multi-purpose is, I think, pretty important for Penny Parker, especially if you want to do defensive gameplay. Without defensive gameplay, without having multi-purpose nests, unless you're going for a very specific strategy, then there's just no point in playing Penny Parker. Also, a couple other things you could be doing. If the enemy team is playing dive, you might want to encourage your supports to play back here, so that when they get dove on by the Black Panther or the Spider-Man or the Venom, they get blown up by a bunch of mines and nests. Especially if they have the rocket nest, the rocket beacon over here. You can imagine this at the rocket beacon and the regular, and the rocket team-up nest, and that just doubles the damage output, and you can just afford to have one mine, one nest out over here, or you could just have both nests over here and just place a bunch of mines here next to the rocket beacon. You can choose how you want to go about it. If you're still on defense, you could do mines like this, and eventually if they were to walk out, they might walk into it. But a lot of the smoke areas just don't really help you all that much. Obviously going for wall mines is pretty useful because they're getting caught off guard. My rocket is going to catch the point. GG. Do you really need more support against the dive characters? Now, if they have a full team of dive, well, obviously, why would you not play anti-dive? But if they have like one Black Panther into a team that just full counters a Black Panther alone, you don't need to worry about the Black Panther. But really, for this map, there's no other nest spots that you can really place on the map. Like, I'm not going to place a nest over here for my supports or whatever. It's just a waste. I mean, maybe you could do a couple impromptu if you're trying to reclaim lost territory. But for the most part, you're just gonna go for mines on the walls where people are coming around corners. You could do mines over here near the health pack because they're gonna be like looking to grab the health pack and get blown up by it. And obviously, like I said, if you want to protect your backline from any divers, depending on how much support the backline needs against the enemy dive comp, you might put more nests over here, just depending, right? If you guys have enough anti-dive supports and enough anti-dive DPS, you don't need to worry about having nests over here, right? But if they're running a full dive comp, well then what else are you going to be playing Penny for, right? Just have both the nests over here so that the divers can't do shit to your backline. On second point attack here, there's really not much you can do. You can't really place your nests over here because they're just very easily shot out from the enemy team, and they don't actually stop the enemy team from like going in a specific direction. Like I can shoot this out, I can shoot this out. It doesn't really like I can walk around it, the webs as well. Don't bother placing your nests inside the nest or inside the smoke. It doesn't cover it well enough to actually catch the enemy team off guard. But yeah, when they're playing on when they first push the cart onto second point, there's really not much you can do, right? It's either flanking and diving Penny Parker, or you're just gonna wait until they come all the way back over here, and just gonna try to hold them down like this, where you're gonna try to like barrel stuff him down and just choke, and make it impossible for them to push the cart past this area, unless they take like specific reroutes, like going all the way around here for the backside to try and shoot the nest, etc. But yeah, you could do like another mine trap over here to try and cut off this angle so that they can only go from behind over here. And at that point, you can extend your webs out like this, depending on where the enemy team is. Alright, so the enemy team starts flanking from behind, you can place more webs down like this and make it so that they have a really hard time pushing this nest spot again, and they're not pushing cart at the same time. But yeah, outside of that, there's really nothing much you can do here. Once the cart is pushed up onto this part of the map, it's pretty much impossible to play Penny. Placing the nest inside the smoke does nothing, because again, you can just shoot the nest inside the smoke. The smoke doesn't stop them from shooting at the nest. This setup doesn't really do much either, because it's just kind of hard to like get anything done when they can just shoot the nest the entire time. Even if you were to place it over here, right? It's just very easy to not really be worried about it. Just shoot it at whatever angle you want. And even then, like, you can only place one nest down, right? Maybe you extend your webs out like this, and it'll slow them down, but after first point, you pretty much want to swap off Penny regardless. You just have, like, anytime you want to find a good nest spot, you just have to think, can the enemy team shoot it from their POV? If the answer is yes, it's a bad nest spot. Other way? What do you mean? Like this way? Well, nobody goes up here, unless you're a flanking character already anyway. So, in that case, it doesn't really matter what kind of nest setup you do. You just kind of peel for your team and stun them permanently. But nest on the stairs that loop to the other stairs, no one can shoot it unless they take the stairs, and you can mine off the area too.
You know what to do, spiders?
Like this?
It's more than just a suit of armor. Spiders may partner.
Well, either way, you wouldn't want to be doing that nest setup regardless.
Tree.
Is it right here, Tina? Right from spawn.
You know what to do, spiders?
What, you mean inside here? What would this do? The reason why this nest setup doesn't work is because if the cart is pushing out their main, I just shoot it. If the cart is already past that point, and they're coming up from this side, well then the nest isn't going to do anything either. Because look at how much webs it takes to extend out, and it's not going to like get anywhere. Even with like max web tech, at most you can get it up to here, and then the team is coming out this way. Bless you, thank you. So they're not going it's not going to do anything. You can maybe say this one could work if you're playing a more like aggressive defense setup here, and that it might slow them down if you like do this. But at that point, they're just gonna go down this side anyway and just shoot it from here. This is why, like, this point is not great for Peni because there's just too many different ways to take off angles and alternate routes. Now, if the enemy team doesn't want to, you know, walk the other way because they're lazy as well, then sure, obviously it's gonna work out. But I'm just thinking, like, I'm assuming the enemy team has somewhat of a brain, and they're going to, like, want to win the game, right? This map is too open? It is. One thing I will say for defending on this map is I like to do this setup over here, where if the card is now on this staircase, right, payload's over here, I am going to, basically the attacking team is going to come up this way, right, and try to come up through the stairs over here so that they can push the payload all the way to the end, and then they're just going to get hit with a bunch of mines over here, right? So that's the idea, because they're not going to be going all the way around here to try to break the nest, and they're not going to come from the bottom if the card has already been pushed past this corner. So that's probably the best setup on this map. If you were to defend on second point, I'm not going to put my nest over here or over here because it just doesn't work. Even over here, this tree can break, so it's not worth trying to put your nest in any of these spots to defend the payload from getting capped, unless it's like a last-second brawl type of situation. Yeah, I don't like this map though. Like, I wouldn't recommend playing Peni unless it's the first point, and there's really only one go-to Peni spot, and everything else does not work. You know, I'm not going to be placing my nest over here inside this room. I'm not placing my nest inside the waterfall. It makes no sense. It's either here to stop the front line and here to stop the enemy team from flanking or diving. On third point, is there anything on third point? I mean, third point is just a lot of corners, so it's going to be slowly pushing up an attack, trying to get angles, right? Just trying to slow them down maybe with pushing forward with the webs. If you're on defense, again, it's just the same thing. You have corners, you have angles, you know, just web out like this. Try to do some damage to the enemy team. Slow them down on each corner. You know, if you're standing on this corner, you could do this technically, but again, that's still not all that great because look, the enemy team can see you. So it's just a matter of like how willing are you to play Peni on this map and lose, or how stupid is the enemy team because they refuse to like do anything but walk forward into the mines permanently.
I'm here to finish the fight that my father
Is the
began.
Angela map? I would agree.
Make him proud.
I would agree. I like this map for Angela much more than I do for Peni. This is probably gonna be the last rendition of me playing this game out, and then maybe I'll just do like a VAR review of myself playing Peni on this map, which rarely happens because I'm almost always playing Angela once I get off of the Peni on first point defense. I almost never play Peni on attack either, just because Penny's terrible. I'd rather Angela than Peni. Yeah, I'm not playing Peni on attack here almost ever. If I do, I might flank on the left side here, right? Take this route, go to the high ground if there's an enemy on the high ground. Try and take care of them, you know, throw some mines out whenever I have a chance. But really, it's just standard Peni gameplay. You dive whenever you have the chance to dive, and try to get behind them to cut them off if you can. Same with the attack. It's pretty much just trying to abuse like the different chokes that they have here. Right, if enemy team is playing defense and they're pushed up underneath, I'm gonna put mines and nest behind on the enemy team to try and cut them off as they back up. A lot of the times I might play Peni all the way back here, or I flank from this staircase. They try to do the same thing on the supports, like this. But I mean, there's really nothing unique or special about this map that you would have to worry about or learn for Peni. It's just, if you already know how to play flank Peni, it's going to be the same concepts repeated over and over and over. On last point here, there's really nothing you can do. Like in Cringe Alarm's, you know, nest guide for this map, you can really only put the nests over here, and this obviously isn't all that great. Not a lot of coverage behind the walls. You can extend it out like this. The reason why you don't put it on this wall is because this wall is breakable once it reaches third point. So if you like try to put your nest here, you can break the entirety of this wall only, and not this wall. And so you just break this wall, nest breaks, there's no more cover, etc. But yeah, I mean, that's about the gist of the nest guide here. We can obviously do some impromptu nest guides or nest spots, like if you're trying to spawn hold the enemy team on third point by staggering them, you can whip out like this, and put mines out. But really, there's like nothing interesting about Peni on this map. The smoke spots aren't all that great. You could do this, but it's like, how often is the enemy team walking through the smoke like that? Just get creative on Penny whenever you're trying to play her on this map, because you're gonna need it. And yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. All right, let's get the f out of here. Penny might be the worst hero for this map without a doubt. I agree. I'm not reconnecting to that shit. Appreciate that, JD.